Hey there everybody, Stuart Knight here with a video that I hope will help you boycott your old way of thinking and maybe just lead you to a different perspective, something slightly different that will hopefully lead you to a happier life, a better life, a more successful life, whatever it is that you want. Okay, so this is an interesting one this week because it's one that people don't like to think about. It's one that sometimes makes us feel a little icky. It's one that I think that we don't want to admit. And that is the fact that human beings are judging each other all the time. Okay, I'm being judged by my friends, my coworkers, my clients. You're being judged by the same people. And we don't want to believe it because if we're being judged, that means we're being held accountable to something. And for the most part, I don't think we like to admit that we need to make sure that our game is kind of raised and that we're holding ourselves to a certain standard because we like to believe that we can get away with certain things. We like to believe that maybe not everyone's always watching, but they are. And one of the things I've really noticed with a lot of people is that they will go through life and they will think that they can basically behave poorly. They can act in a way that isn't nice, or it's rude, or it's mean, or it's inconsiderate. And they can think that they can continue to get all the good things that are currently happening in their life if they continue to keep acting that way. And I just want you to know that it bites you on the ass eventually. And I know this. I mean, it's happened to me. I'm not perfect. Don't go thinking, oh, I'm a motivational speaker. I don't have any problems. No, I have tons of things that I need to improve upon. And I know that as I go through life, I try to get, I try to sneak in bad behavior from time to time. Once in a while, maybe I'm a little inconsiderate. Maybe once in a while, I might say things that are inappropriate. And in the moment, I like to believe that, oh, it's just a one-off situation. Maybe there was a bit of an awkward moment at the dinner party, or maybe, my partner or my friends or my family kind of just, they just rolled their eyes and just thought, oh, well, that's Stuart. But I'm old enough now and mature enough to know that you might get away with it once or twice, but if you continue bad behavior, it does catch up with you. And I've been noticing this because lately I've had no other choice but to really change the way that I'm willing to interact with certain people that I'm close to in my own life, just because the behavior has been consistent. And here are some things I'm talking about. I'm fine getting together with you for a beer if you're a friend of mine, or going out for dinner or having a coffee. And I'm okay with you not asking me really much about my life, about how business is going, how my family is, or asking some intricate details about, things that are important to me. I'm okay with that. Once in a while, it's going to be all about you. Maybe you're a bit scattered that day. But the second time that happens, I notice it. And then the third and fourth and fifth and sixth time, it starts becoming unacceptable behavior. It starts becoming unfair. It starts becoming one-sided and something that I'm just not frankly interested in. And so that's just an example of what I'm getting at here, is that you have to ask yourself, maybe are you one of those people? Or if you're the kind of person in business that maybe shoots down people's ideas in a boardroom because you feel like you have a legitimate reason to shoot down those ideas, maybe you do. And maybe in that moment, you are the smartest person in that room on that topic. And that's fine, okay? There's nothing wrong with saying, no, that's not a good idea, we need to go in this direction. However, if you consistently shoot people's ideas down, you're going to start noticing that people will respond accordingly. They just won't share those ideas. Or in a relationship, if you maybe have a day where you're feeling tired, or you're a bit grumpy because you had a rough day at work, and for that reason you don't want to be intimate with your partner, or you don't want to engage them in conversation, or maybe you just don't want to be a jovial person that day, that's totally cool. You got to be you, and that's fine. But you can't keep consistently acting like that, because then eventually if you do, it starts becoming poor behavior. And I can give you a million other examples. It's being late all the time, or not showing up to people's birthday parties or events that they invite you to. Once in a while, it's fine, but you start getting consistent with it and it starts becoming poor behavior. If it's not responding to people's emails, you're one of those individuals who thinks that you can get away by, ghosting someone and just, I'll just be the person on this email thread who doesn't respond. They put the email out to 20 people. I'm just one of 20 people. I don't need to respond. the person does know. They do know you're the one person that didn't respond, or you're the one of 5 people who didn't respond. The point is this: people notice, you can't hide, and you're being judged. You're being graded all the time. So am I. This is something that happens in life, whether we like it or not. And so the only thing that we can control, because we can't control that, is to really look at ourselves and ask ourselves who we are most of the time. Because one of the things I've actually always loved is that saying, maybe you've heard of it, is show me who a person is in the moment, and I'll show you who that person is most of the time. And that's true. You know, you can think that, oh, I'm just going to get away with being the person that always cuts in on traffic and doesn't wave and say thank you. I'll be the person that, you know, doesn't donate money to my friends' charities that they're asking me to raise money for. Or I can be the person that just always never puts in the really the right amount for the bill, and keep thinking that no one's noticing. People are noticing. And I want to be the one who wakes you up to that, because to me, that's a great thing to know and to acknowledge, because once you acknowledge it, you can do something about it. So just know that you're being graded. We're all being graded. And so we can cut corners from time to time. And yes, that is a human trait that we all have. I do it myself. But one thing that I really try to do is I try to be clear on what I would define as being a person of integrity, and the way that I would define what it looks like to be somebody who has a great value system, who has great character, and I'm very clear about that. I'm very clear about what an amazing person looks like, whether it's me or somebody else that I know. And I remind myself of what that definition is, and I use that as my mirror as I move through life. And as I have these little moments where I try to cut corners, I ask myself, you know, who is that person in relation to my own definition of integrity and great value and great character, and of someone who's just amazing? And if I find myself asking that question, I realize, okay, Stuart, you're about to be somebody who's not the greatest version of yourself here. So just walk the extra mile, just do the extra effort, and realize that people are watching. So, yeah, just keep that in mind, okay? You're not going to do yourself any favors by cutting corners. Once in a while, yeah, I get it. You're human. We all are. But don't try to do it all the time. Don't try to be the person that's always getting away with a certain type of behavior, because people are watching, and they will eventually react to somebody who behaves poorly. All right? Lots of love. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching that video, my friend. I would love to have these videos land right in your inbox. If you want to get that, just sign up right here. If you do, you're going to get a free gift, exclusive content, and you'll be the first to learn about amazing things that we have coming up.